Madam Clerk, are you good?
Yes.
Council members? Good. Call this meeting to order. Mr. Kenny, if you can lead us in our invocation, please, sir.
All right, if you would, please bow your heads. God, you're good to us. God, we just thank you for this opportunity to serve this town. God, we just ask that we serve it with discernment that can only come from you. God, we just love you and we thank you. We ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Mr. Adams, if you can lead us in the pledge, sir.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, if you can please conduct a roll call, ma'am.
Yes. Alderman Doug Adams.
Here.
Alderman Matthew Kenny.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Buck McGee.
Here.
Alderman Jordan Shreen.
Here.
Alderman Mike Raines.
Here.
Mayor Hunter Timms.
Here. Council, continue on the approval of minutes. We'll have first up approval of minutes from October the 14th, 2025, regular council meeting. Is there any comment from the public on this matter? Seeing none, is there any comment from the council on this matter? Also none. Council, this time I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the minutes on October 14, 25 council meeting.
I have a motion from Mr. McGee and a second from Mr. Shreen. Council, at this time, please cast your votes.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Motion carries. We'll continue on to item number 2, an approval of minutes. This will be the approval of minutes from November the 17th, 2025, which was a workshop meeting. Is there any comments from the public on this matter? Seeing none, are there any comments from the council on this matter? Also none. Council, this time I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion. We accept the minutes from November 17, 2025.
Second.
We have a motion from Mr. Kenny and a second from Mr. Adams. Council, this time please cast your votes.
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Continuing on through old business, we will have accept or reject the final budgeted financial statements for September of 2025. Is there any counsel from the public on this matter? Or excuse me, is there any comment from the public on this matter? Seeing none, is there any comment from the council on this matter? Also none. Council, this time I will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to accept the financial budget statements for September 2025.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Raines and a second from Mr. McGee. Council, this time, please cast your votes.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Continuing on through new business, council, you are in possession currently of the current budgeted financial statements for October 2025. Council and public alike, just make you aware, everything else we have in new business is going to be introduction of ordinances. Just so everybody's aware, those ordinances will be introduced tonight without a vote, and they will be voted on at our next meeting, which will be in December. That will bring us to item number 2, which is to introduce ordinance 5 of 2025. This is an ordinance amending the 2025 operating budget. Council, just for everybody's awareness, which we have Mr. McGee and Mr. Shreen, who are members of the budget committee there that we all meet with. First off, I want to thank you both. You guys have put a ton of time into that. What you're seeing is it's still, you two are fully aware, but for the awareness of these other council members and the public, what you're seeing is still, it's close, but it's still a working document. Very simply put like that. That still will have the ability to change some, obviously, as we narrow in on those numbers and stuff. So I just want to make that aware for everybody. Although there won't be a vote, I still, if there's any questions or comments from the public, please come up here and you're free to make them. Seeing none there, council, same goes here. You have the floor. If there's any questions or comments you'd like to make about the introduction of Ordinance 5 of 2025. Seeing none there as well, we will continue on to item number 3, a new business, which is to introduce ordinance 6 of 2025. This is an ordinance for the 2026 original operating budget. Broken record here, you're going to see some of the same stuff. We're being extremely diligent here at Town Hall between Lane and Miss Lori here, and Tyler, myself, and your council members that are on that. We are still honing in these numbers, and we're trying to be as precise as we can to make a solid 2026 budget. And I think our final product's going to be something that everybody will be proud of, council members and public alike. So again, is there any comments or questions from the public on that? Seeing none, any comments or questions from the council?
One comment, Mr. Mayor, just for the record, been working pretty hard to make everything line up. Great team, town's growing, expenses are too. And just for the record, every elected official in this town has openly requested not to receive a raise this year. So there'll be no change in the pay for every elected official in this town.
Any other questions or comments from the council? Seeing none, we will continue on to item number 4. This will be introducing ordinance 7 of 2025. It is an ordinance setting the salary of municipal officers for 2026. Is there any comments or questions from the public in reference to this matter? Seeing none as well. Council, any comments or questions in reference to this introduction of ordinance 7 of 2025? Also done, we will continue on through new business. We have introduced ordinance 8 of 2025. It is an ordinance amending the town of Houghton employee handbook to provide changes for pay periods. I'll have Mr. Gillis, our town administrator, come up just to provide some context to everybody here. He was kind of on the front line on this.
Good evening, council. Ordinance 8 is going to be an amendment to our employee handbook. The primary objective of this amendment is we're going to be transitioning to a 14-day pay period. Right now, the town's set up bi-monthly, which works great in theory for salary employees. However, for hourly employees, it's typically better and financially responsible to do this on a 14-day period. And since about 90% of our workforce is hourly, we're going to make that transition January 1. Or I take that back, it would actually be December 28th. So that will be our intentions there on that. In addition to that, this will also bring in a fixed pay scale and classification structure for the town. And if you look at the document that I have on there, each one's going to be, each department will be linked to a specific document that has an ID number on it, which is all included in your packet. Again, as we worked on this budget committee over the last several months and worked to put this project together, I think this is going to be a very good thing for the town. The pay scale generally is going to evenly compensate all of our employees based off of their respective departments. I think that's a really big deal. I know when we first came into this, the mayor and I both sat down, we're looking at everything all year long. It's been a process of, hey, open these books, figuring out what we have, what we're doing, and why we're doing it. And in the case of that, we find a lot of things that maybe not made not a lot of sense. And we find some discrepancies here and there. And I think this kind of wipes all that out. It's going to bring us into a very an easier forecast model for us to know what's happening in the town in the future and to be able to tell where our projected growth is going. So if y'all have any questions, I'm more than available for it. I ought to know how much time I've spent on this over the last several months.
Yeah, I'll make a comment on that as well, Mr. Gillis. Credit to Mayor Gaspard. That was one of the things during transition that I sat down with him on. This is a section of the employee handbook that's changing, and Mayor Gaspard was correct when he said, hey, there's several things that have been updated in this employee handbook, and there's several things that have not been. I'm encouraging you, when you have your little bit of free time, to dig into it and make those corrections, because that was actually something that he said was important and something he identified. So this is the first step to make sure, you know, that obviously we're in compliance with all federal and state regulations, but also in fairness to every employee and member of the town too, to make sure we have an accurate handbook that's in place, accurate pay scales that are in place, and that's something that this is the first chip on a very, very big block. So, and I appreciate you, Tyler, for all the time you put into it as well. Is there any questions or comments from the council for Mr. Gillis as he's up here? Seeing none, I think also, I'll let you hang tight, Tyler. You touched on it, but we'll continue on through new business here, which is to introduce Ordinance 9 of 2025. It's an ordinance implementing a pay scale for town employees. Those somewhat go hand in hand. Tyler just hit on that as well. Is there any? Go ahead.
I just want to point out on this, so this right here, this ordinance is actually what's, you know, with us following on the Larson Act, we also have to have this placed into our code. So this year we'll adopt the pay scales into the code, but I want to point out from a fiscal responsibility perspective of all this, that you are going to have the ability as the council with the freeze authority in there. And that's basically placing in there that, hey, if economic conditions are no longer favorable for us to begin these progression steps that are implemented through a pay scale, we still have the opportunity to write at any time, and we've laid out the framework on how that would happen, how it would be resumed. And so that way, if it's everybody that's sitting here today is not the people that's sitting here in 4 years, that framework's there. And so I encourage you to take the time, look at that. I think it's, most of the people in the budget committee, obviously we worked through that, and I really appreciate everybody's input in this, and I feel very confident in the future of how this will play out.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to set up another workshop between now and when we vote on this next month. I've got some concerns from somebody on.
Absolutely.
So before we vote on this, I'd like to set up a workshop.
What we'll do is we were going to have a budget workshop anyways before you guys adopt that. We'll make sure Miss Lori and Tyler make sure that we have that added to the agenda so that we can discuss that as well at the workshop. So absolutely, all about it.
Make sure that the department heads are involved in it too.
Oh, absolutely. All department heads and anybody else that wants to be there, we'll be there. No problem. Any other questions or comments from the council on that? Ms. Lori?
You already planned that, had you not?
We had a budget workshop planned. This stuff coincides so closely with each other. I do appreciate Mr. Adams bringing it up because, again, in the light of doing everything the right way, we want to make sure we have budget on there, and then we'll actually put a line item on there beneath that to discuss pay scales. So,
if you already got a date set, we could just do it then.
we don't have a date set, but it will be on the same date. That was already pre-planned. We want to make sure we accommodate everybody's schedules to include department heads to do that. Ms. Lori and Mr. Gillis, if y'all will make sure that we don't forget to add that second line to that, just since they are similar but two separate topics. So, any other questions or comments from the council? Seeing none? Thank you. Continue on through new business. It will be item number 7. This is introducing ordinance 10 of 2025. This is an ordinance adopting a fee schedule for permits and inspections within the town of Houghton. Mr. Gillis can come right on back up here. And he can stay through 8. I'll open up this. Hey, very, very simply, this is part of our growth trajectory we are on. In very simple terms, you have a third party company that is conducting our inspections. How that's broken up is the town of Houghton. I want to use arbitrary numbers here, so don't hold this against me. The town of Houghton might receive $50 for a roof permit. Arbitrary numbers, these aren't correct. I don't have it in front of me. And the third party might receive $50 or $100. We have to implement, the town of Houghton does not have a fee schedule for permits and inspections to identify that, because prior to that, there is a fee schedule, but it was a split schedule between a third party company. The town of Houghton got X amount, third party got this. So what we're doing is, in conjunction with our permits and inspection, we're adopting fees, obviously, that we'll be able to post and disseminate for contractors, homeowners, individuals within town. So that's what you're seeing introduced here. I'll give the floor to you, Mr. Gillis.
Yeah. So attached to this ordinance, you will see the actual, or written in there is going to be the actual fees that you are adopting there. Right now, currently, we're contracted through IBTS. We've been using them for quite some time, but again, ratio typically somewhere between 70-30 is the percent. They're keeping 70 or 30. And with us bringing this out, bringing it in-house, one of the complaints I've actually had from contractors, builders that are coming in here is they don't always feel like they have the best service of getting people out there and getting these inspections done. And so we're going to be able to improve the ability of how we can get inspections, the time, the turnaround, to not slow these developers down, to not slow buildings down as this is growing. And, in return for that, we will recoup 100% of the fees that are collected. We did look at several fees across multiple municipalities across the state, north, south, and central Louisiana. These are right in line with every municipality in there that we found. So we don't have anything absorbed in there that I found. Obviously, as we transition through 2026, if we do find an issue in there that we need to address, at any time we can come back and amend this. The biggest thing here for clarity in our municipal code is so many different codes in there are worded that you have the code, what it applies to, and then the fee amount in there. This year will retroactively point all of those codes to one fee schedule. So it's going to provide for a simpler method for us at the end of every year in reviewing these, that if we need to increase, decrease, whatever the case to makes adjustment, we're only doing one document. And so that's going to be extremely helpful long term. So, do y'all have any questions for me on this one?
I'll just touch on that as well. If you ever get bored, council members or anybody sitting out here and you want to go look at the wide array of how municipalities, what they permit, how they structure those permitting fees and stuff, I'm sure Jeremy, our engineer back there, could probably testify to this as well. It's a lot to take in. And obviously what we're looking for doing this was taking into account that IBTS has been capturing, in most, well, I would say in all instances, has been capturing the larger amount of that, being fair and that understanding that we're keeping all this money in-house now as we're providing this division for permits and inspections, and then looking at stuff that's relative to us in the area. You're Ruston, you got Bossier is much bigger than us, so that kind of that balancing scale of trying to find municipalities that are similar size and similar locations while taking into account what's happening across the state, because some of them are so simple you can put on one sheet, and some of them would take a printer full of paper to figure it out. So I would say one of the big things that we were big on being Tyler was being able to provide a piece of paper, and if you had blueprints or whatever it might be dealing with your contractor, you could check off everything you would know that was on there, and it'd be very clear and not open-ended. Some of the stuff I saw from other municipalities was kind of open-ended when it came to permits and stuff, so that's not something we want to have here. We want it to, what you're getting into, and you'll know exactly what your money's going towards when you pay for the permit, and you'll also have that inspected appropriately by our in-house inspections. So,
how is he on board? 100% now. Is he trained? And
so yes, no. The town of Houghton has 2 certified building officials, which is a huge deal, and Spencer particularly has been trained throughout Shreveport and Ruston. So we were excited in the fact that we didn't get to send him just to one reputable municipality. We got to send him to 2 to kind of bring back, hey, they do it this way. These guys did it this way. I think the best way to do it is this way.
He's very much ready to go.
Are we to a point where we don't have to use a third party anymore?
January 1.
January 1.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. And he's ready to go to work. He's put in the time too. So
Good.
continuing on through new business, this is item number 8. This will be introducing ordinance 11 of 2025. It's an ordinance approving a franchise agreement with SWEPCO. This is a housekeeping ordinance. We have franchise agreements with you have it across the board. Your AT&T, your now Delta Utilities, your SWEPCO. Those generally come up every 15 to 20 years. That is a percentage that these companies pay back to the municipality for operating within our municipal limits and providing services. So that's the easiest way for me to sum it up on that. Is there any comments or questions from the public in reference to introducing ordinance 11 of 2025? Any comments or questions from the council in reference to ordinance 11 of 2025? Seeing none, we will continue reports, and we will have Mr. Gillis approach back up here. I will say, his report.
Y'all, we just went through my report.
His report consists of these ordinances that you just saw right here. So,
I really don't have anything else going on. We've been so consumed with the budgetary and compensation packages and dealing with the handbook and all of those issues right now. That has ate up the vast majority of my time. I will update you briefly. We did had a meeting yesterday on the Foxkin Bayou project. Unfortunately, the only thing we're working on now is still something to do with the environmental review report. It is done and completed. We're just waiting on it to be approved. And so that portion is kind of out of our hand right now. I would expect maybe a 15 to 30 day delay total between and that's just formalities because they're doing public comment sections on it. So, we were back by about a month behind from what we updated in July. Now I'd say we're about 2 months behind. But nonetheless, hopefully we'll have that out to bid in very early January. So
I'll say that in references to for you, if you have anything else to continue on. I think whenever I first came to the office, the suspense for what needed to be completed on this Foxkin Bayou, my first meeting was actually in December. Mayor Gaspard allowed me to sit in on that, which I appreciate. But January, since I've been in office, those suspense items probably were 7 to 9 items that were outstanding in January, and I think that's fair to say 7 or 9 is probably where we're at. They've gone all the way down to 1, and so you guys have been hearing about this project for years now, and I can say it's down to 1 item that is. It's not a hurdle. It's a total formality, and so I'm excited about that. The next thing you're going to see is bids, and that's going to be the guys with equipment that are ready to go out there and fix this problem that we have. So, any questions or comments from Mr. Gillis?
Thank you.
Continuing on through reports, we'll have Chief Gibson, Houghton Police Department.
Yeah.
Get him a chair.
All right, for October, we had 172 service calls. The guys actually wrote 60 reports, 14 crashes, 207 citations, 5 domestics, 21 arrests, and 85 were felonies, 11 were drug charges, and 4 DWIs. We also participated in the open house at the fire department, National Night Out, Domestic Violence Awareness Campaign. I was hosted at Benton at the Sheriff's Office, Library Safety and Trunk or Treat, and Reserve Officer Ryan Jeffries completed motor instructor school. It's a very hard school, and he done an excellent job of it. Other news, we all are very aware of Mike Freeman and what he brings to the table, so I would like to make a recommendation to the council that effective January 1, 2026, he be promoted to Assistant Chief of Police. And if you have any questions on that, I'm here. If not, that's all I got.
Any questions or comments from the council for Chief? Tyler, Miss Lori will make sure that that probably falls within pay scale, but when we have that meeting, Mr. Adams will make sure that we discuss currently Sergeant Freeman's position will be too in that workshop as well. So
Thank you.
thank you. Continuing on to Public Works, we will have. No, I'm sorry, Chief Holland. We will. I got so excited, Mr. Hicks. We will have Chief Holland with the Houghton Fire Department come up here.
Stevens, October report, we had 76 responses. Highlight on fires. On the 18th, we had a structure fire at 1214 Dry Creek. We received mutual aid from Bossier Parish Fire District 1 in South Bossier on that fire. On the 21st, we had a structure fire at 522 Green Tree. That was a mutual aid fire we responded to with Doling Fire Department. On the 20th, we had a grass fire at 15 El Dorado Court. That was mutual aid to South Bossier. On the 24th, we had a structure fire at 258 Criers Camp. That was mutual aid provided to South Bossier. On the 27th, we had a vehicle fire at 427 Cross Drive. And on the 31st, we had a grass fire at 300 Davis Street. Public education, on the 4th, we held HFB open house. Biggest turnout we've ever had. We had over 400 people show up for that. It was a big deal. On the 7th, we attended National Night Out and Fox Chase Subdivision. On the 14th and 15th, we provided fire education at Houghton Elementary School. And on the 16th, we put on a CPR class for Houghton Elementary School staff. Personnel 42, 12 career, 10 part-time, 20 volunteer. As they've already alluded to, firefighter Leon is now in-house working with City Hall staff to prepare for January 2026 inspections launch. He's working with Tyler. We'll have to launch the software, the My Government Online software as well, so that'll all be set up, and that the fee schedule will come into play with setting up that software. Additionally, he is working with career staff right now on our 2025 pre-plans, and he is also still shadowing 2 days a week in Ruston. On that note, with the Fire Prevention Bureau, which is a big caveat to this, the state of Louisiana is transitioning away from the Life Safety Code towards IBC, the International Building Code, or the IFC, International Fire Code. So the ordinances that y'all passed earlier this year, we will have to go back and amend those ordinances in order for us to get our official bureau status to be in compliance with PIL's requirements. I talked to State Fire Marshal Brian Adams today. I said, I need you to tell me this is going to get done. And he said, I promise you it'll be able to be done before 2026. Now, we'll have to pass an ordinance. It'll take a month of laying over. So hopefully by January we can adopt it and get it done. Fortunately, Spencer and Sean are both already certified building officials, so they're already trained in IBC, IFC, mechanical, all that. So there's nothing that they're going to require that our guys aren't already certified for. They're more certified than anybody else. Sean will be testing his inspector next week. Once Sean gets his inspector 1 and inspector 2, he will qualify under our operating procedures to be a member of the Fire Prevention Bureau. Now, he will still remain on shift staff, but as we've talked about, the caveat of him being a backup able to assist Spencer, Spencer goes to the beach for a week, we don't want to shut down the town. Equipment, all apparatus are in service. You've probably seen the new Sprint truck around town. It's now in service. November, we've had some trucks go down, but they're all in service right now. That'll be on next month's report. Training, daily training continues for all full-time personnel. We currently are putting on an Officer 1 class, which began in October and runs through late November. We have 9 students in that class. Additional information, I attended the LFCA Fall Symposium October 28th through the 31st. The government's back open, so we should be able to start completing our AFG grant process now. The website's been down for the duration of that. So now that the government's open, we can get back to work on that and start getting the air packs ordered and all that. So that's all I got.
Any questions or comments from the council?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Now up to Mr. Zach Hicks, who's here. Mr. Jackie Hicks had to make an appointment in Monroe. Everybody keep in mind, this meeting was kind of a last minute change due to Veterans Day falling when it did. So Zach is going to cover our Public Works Department.
All right. I'll start with digs and repairs. We had a total of 7 so far. One of those being the water main that was running over construction for that new road next to Pilot. We took the 3-inch water main out of that area entirely and just shorted it far back so it wouldn't be in the way of the new constructions. Top of that, we started doing some of the fire hydrant repairs. We were replacing over on 321 North Elm over in Deer Valley. Other than that, it's mainly just service line repairs that happen breaking the roads, things like that, boring. As far as wells, well 4 was out of service for a short period, but it is back up running 100%. We're good on that. And just keep maintaining our equipment on chlorine regulators, and hopefully we'll be done with Christmas decorations before Thanksgiving.
That's a good goal to shoot for.
Yeah.
Except for technically, you're not supposed to put up after Thanksgiving, so you're winning if you're on the time before that. So that's awesome.
We're trying.
Yeah, they are. It doesn't go. It doesn't go.
Before Thanksgiving, a baby reindeer died. You know that.
Doesn't go unnoticed.
Anyways, any questions?
Questions or comments from council? Zach, appreciate you being here, man. Thank you. In the same breath of that, Mr. Horton with their NPC had a function that was already pre-planned with his grandchildren to be at tonight. He worked out well. He has nothing to cover. I think his biggest deal was their implementation of their NPC fees that they had to adopt, but he's already knocked that out. There's nothing in the town of Houghton NPC that he needed to cover on that. So, continuing on, finally reports, we will have Mr. Jeremy with Meyer Engineering Firm conduct his report.
Good evening. So last month we mentioned that the wastewater treatment plant upgrades, that's the additional money that was left over from the wastewater project. That went to bids last Thursday, and the bids are still under review, but what I can say is that the lowest bid went over, I think around, I don't know the number off the top of my head, I think it's somewhere around 50,000, so we're reviewing that to try to figure out what can be cut to get back into the money. We'll have a recommendation at next month's meeting, so we should have something by then. Foxcan Bayou, there's some stuff going on. I saw some traffic this week about the Fonzie is trying to be reviewed, so there's a 15-day period from that, so you expect something in next month's meeting. We should see some traffic moving on that one. On the water tank project, I think it was last month's meeting, one of the council members, I don't remember which one, asked about a schedule. It might have been you. I've got a schedule for each of them if you want this. This is the first updated trip.
I got one. I got one, Jeremy.
Don't skip me, huh, Jeremy? I remember that. Took care of it.
Please don't ask me any questions because I don't have a copy.
Shouldn't be any questions. I got it right in front of them.
Yeah, so everything's right in front of you. If you have any questions, let me know. I can get them answered.
I'll say on this elevated tank project, fluid would be the nice word to use. Everybody needs to be aware, obviously, with the 3227 taking place right next to this. It has derailed some of the simplest things that would have been an issue if we weren't getting that roadway improved.
Anytime you have multiple contractors on the same side,
it's rough. But so there's so much going on in a very consolidated area right there that it's fluid, like I said. That's the best way to put it. So, but we're getting it done.
And so that gives you, if you have any questions, just let me know on that. Have a chance to review it. Back next month's meeting, if you got anything, I'll be able to answer whatever you need on that. As far as development goes around here, I think Legacy Point Unit 3 is getting pretty close. Probably next month we'll maybe see a recommendation. They got a few items outstanding as far as drainage where it goes, but should see that one on the agenda probably next month for recommendation of approval.
Yeah, but it normal take a month and a half. They paint that thing with a Q-tip. I mean, you got to paint here for a month and a half.
I mean, you're painting it up in the air, and it's nice little design on it.
Okay.
I can see it taking that.
Okay.
If we could just get a ladder and go around and do different stories,
Take a little longer, all right.
it's,
Couple weeks, they made a whole B-52 on top of Mosers.
That's right.
really.
You know,
I can ask the contractor and ask him.
I do. It did that, I was looking at the timeline, most of it seemed reasonable, but that one looked a little long.
Month and a half?
You can buy them a wider brush, yeah,
Yeah, talk to them, tell them they can buy a wire brush.
maybe a roller.
I think that's all I've got in the show.
Any other questions or comments from the council? Appreciate you, Jared.
Yep, no problem.
Council members, any announcements that you would like to make? Madam Clerk, any announcements from you, ma'am?
No, ma'am.
I'd like to thank our newly elected police chief here from Houghton, police jury member from Houghton showing up.
That's right. Mr. Beatty, we appreciate you being here. I don't think it was too overly exciting, was it?
About like your last jury meeting.
That's right. Any other announcements from the council members?
Christmas parade, remember December 6th? 13th. Whoa. I've been to 6.
We ain't going to Benton's. We got the best one out here in Houghton.
Y'all want to be on the float?
We do not have a town hall floating this year. Unfortunately, we've been a little tied up on a
We
few
had
other
one,
things.
y'all tore it up.
Yeah. Should have seen what it took to build it. So yeah.
Don't start.
Please don't, Mr. Adams. That's 2 weeks of our lives.
We adjourn.
Is there any objection to adjourning this meeting, council members? See none, meeting adjourned. That's 2 weeks of our life.